In this lesson, I will explain to you the matrices conformable for multiplication. So I will explain to you in this lesson what is the meaning of conformable, right? Matrices conformable for multiplication. It means what kind of matrices we can multiply or multiplication, right? So number of columns of the first matrix, the rule is that the number of columns of first matrix is equal to number of rows of the second matrix. Then those matrices are conformable for multiplication, or simply we can say that those matrices we can multiply if the number of the first matrix, number of columns of the first matrix is equal to number of rows of the second matrix. Here I will give you one example. Suppose we have one matrix A and any elements, you can write down any elements here. Similarly, we have B and we can write down any elements like this, right? Okay, so these are the two matrices and the question is whether these two matrices are conformable for multiplication or not. So see, the first is if we want to multiply A and B, right? A and B, so what comes first? A comes first, so it means this is the first matrix. And here is it says number of columns of the first matrix. So how many column we have? We have two column of A, and then B, the second matrix is B, number of rows of the second matrix. So this is the second matrix. See, there are two rows, two columns of the first matrix we have, and there are two rows of the second matrix. So it means yes, we can multiply A, B. These two matrices are conformable for multiplication, and this is the simple rule for the multiplication. If you have two matrices, the number of first matrix, number of columns of the first matrix is equal to number of rows of the second matrix, then you can multiply, right? Here the question is conformable, but how we multiply I will explain you next. So A and B is fine, but suppose if the question is B and A, whether B and A, these two matrices are conformable for multiplication or not. So here we have B first, right? Here we have B first. So the number of columns of the first matrix, now this is our first matrix B. How many rows we have in B? We have, sorry, one column. We have one column. There is only one column in a B. I will write down here. Then is A, number of rows of the second matrix. So in case of B, A is the second matrix. In case of A, B is the second matrix. So here in this case, B and A, so there are two rows, number of rows. One column, B has one column and A has two rows. R for rows, C for column. And these are not equal. It means we cannot multiply. BA is not conformable for multiplication. Why? Question is why, right? You should know the explanation as well. Because the number of columns of B is not equal to number of rows of the matrix A. Okay, now move on. Here you have to find out which of the following matrices are conformable for addition. Here you have to find out, you have to only tell that whether these two are conformable for multiplication or not, right? The question is only you have to mention conformable or not, and how to solve it, how to multiply, I will explain you in the next few slides. So first is this, right? There is no letter A, B, C, D. So this is first, this is second, this is first, this is second. What is the rule? the number of columns of the first matrix. So this matrix has two columns and this matrix has two rows. Number of columns of the first matrix should be equal to the number of number of rows of the second one. This is conformable, both 2 and 2. This one, this is the first matrix. Number of columns, there are two columns of this one. I will just write down 2c. C means column. These are rows, two rows, right? So these two are equal. So yes, this is conformable for multiplication because the number of columns of the first matrix is equal to number of rows of the second matrix. Here few more question. This is the first matrix. Here we have only one. See, one column, and this is two rows is not equal, right? So in this, actually you do not have to write down this in your copies. You have to write down the reason. You have to write down like this: the number of columns of the first matrix is not equal to number of rows of the second matrix. So these two matrices are not conformable for multiplication. Come to the fourth one. Here is 1, 2, two column, 2, 1, 2, two rows. Yes, number of columns of the first matrix should be equal to number of rows. So these two matrices satisfy the condition. These two matrices are conformable for multiplication. Similarly, the third one, 1, 2, 3, three columns, 1, 2, 3, three rows. Yes, this is also conformable for multiplication. Now I believe that you know how to multiply, and you should know as well that what two matrices are conformable for multiplications. Now here I will show you how to multiply. Right now the question is, this is the A matrix, this is the B matrix. Find A, B. Very simple. A, B. So how you have to write down A, B equal to 3, 0, -1 and 2. And then B. Right? See, it is A and B. In case of matrices, you have to follow. First is A. You cannot write down B here. A and then B. And then how you will multiply? This is the important thing. In case of multiplication, this is the row. You have to multiply each row by each column, right? First you have to multiply 3 with 6. So multiply 3 multiply by 6. And then you have to multiply 0 with 5. Do not multiply 0 with 6. 0 by 5. This horizontal row with a vertical column. So 0 multiplied by 5, but always you have to put positive sign here. 0 multiplied by 5. Come here. Second line is, now this row you have to multiply with the same column. So -1 you have to multiply by 6, and then positive sign 2 multiplied by 5, 2 multiplied by 5. And then we will simplify it. 6 3 times 18 plus 0, -6 plus 10. So it is equal to 18 and then 4. This is your AB, right? Our AB is 18 and 4. And one more thing, see, first entry with the first one, and then second with this one, right? So all the second entries you have to multiply with 5. So you will see here, second entries 0 and 2 are second entries by 5. First entry 3 and -1, so this one 6. AB. Now is BA, right? B and A you have to multiply. So first you have to write down B, and then you have to write down A. But the most important thing, how you will multiply these two, B and A. Always keep in mind, before going to start multiplication of the matrices, you have to find out whether these two matrices are conformable for multiplication or not. This is one column. The number of columns of the first one should be equal to number of rows of the second. There are two rows, these are not equal. It means we cannot multiply BA. We can multiply AB. See, one column, second column, one row, second row. So but BA is not possible. Why? Again, why? Right? You should know the reason. Because the number of columns of the first matrix is not equal to number of rows of the second one. Still you have any question, without any hesitation you can write down in comment section. But please do not forget to subscribe to my channel Saima Academy, and thanks for watching.